Hi everybody, I am Anjindra. This is What to Play Next. We are going to Hogwarts for the full, oh gosh, what is it, 8 years? I had a correction that was 7, and I wasn't sure if there was another chapter out or not. I tend not to research games while I'm playing them because I like to talk about them. And right now no one is playing this one with me. I did get friends on almost every other app except for this one. So if you are looking for a Harry Potter friend, hit us up. So we're in Hogwarts. We're playing our character Mila. She's a Hispanic English lady, young girl. Her brother did something really crazy, like crazy is I think how they describe it. At least, I mean, I try and stay up on trends through YouTube, but like, I'm guessing as far as slang goes, that might be not the vernacular there. Alright, so what do I need? I need a 10, so I might as well do this one. And then I can do 14, because I don't get more. I get 1 bonus out of my feat stacks, but not like a lot. So I'm building a new and better duck-billed platypus. Alright, so now we're affectionate 4. I still swear that's backwards. Like, I really just, you don't count with Roman numerals that way, because it... Especially now, okay, the reason is, okay, so this is duck-billed platypus, but this isn't livestock. And you used it for objects, but especially objects for trade, because you would use the tick mark system. And that's why it turns around and it lets you know that you're coming up on a break. I grew up right near the Erie Canal, Clayton's Ditch. So in New York State, we have one of the best educational systems, like known to man, although it is going through a very painful change because media is changing, and they really just didn't keep up. The elite call themselves stuff like officers, like they insulted all the wrong people. So thankfully I dodged most of that because I'm so computer heavy. So I mean, I was never so elite that I got involved in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, that's going through a change, which is hard. Alright, so let's see. I'm ready for my Broom lesson. I can finish that. We're training for Quidditch. This was a tough series for me. This is one of the best RPGs I've ever seen, especially for mobile, so that's awesome. So we're doing broom care and maintenance, which I kind of covered last time. So we'll just welcome to flying class. Today we'll learn how our brooms don't fall. Well, maintain broom is fast broom. So we'll head out to our care stations. We got like all the lesson part of this, and it's one of those weird things that they do, and they do it in the books as well, where they'll put the important stuff first, and then they'll do like social stuff second. So I got it after I got that it was a boarding school. So they're teaching you how to socialize, kind of like if you turn to the left too much. If you're not an omni-turner right, then this is a good one for you. Ooh, 15 books, I'll take that. A nice coat of polish will make a big improvement. So, oh, this is an interesting one. But they layered their Latin over English mysticism, which does not encourage, like, in their roundabouts, you turn left to get out of it, and in America, you turn right. So for us, in our infrastructure, this is intuitive. In their infrastructure, I could see where people who, don't have to deal with the church. Listen up, boys and girls, I'm going to explain several important bits of information to you. Who don't have to deal with the church to maintain their image, would just get it wrong, and it wouldn't be any big deal to them. Be a shame if you fell, Garcia, because it matters more like what your friends think and stuff like that. I heard Charlie Weasley's broom skills are incredible. But I mean, as you get into more and more educated people even, like sinister still means left, adroitly still means hard to the right. I heard your brother is pretty good on a broom, so you'll see when they start to have a moment internationally, it kind of falls apart on them. I was really glad for the RPG because I did read the Harry Potter series. My friend was a fan, my best friend growing up. Now let's see if you've been paying attention. Who can answer this question? Ooh, this is never me. And I get very confused with boarding school questions because they place group before family, friends, or society, and it's like totally thrown. But they do also have the upper class in there. So what Quidditch players fend off the bludgers? Oh god, it's been so long since I read that. I want to say the beaters. Yeah, it was a really long time since I read the book, so some of my reactions to this are brilliant instead of brilliant. But yeah, knowing the language helps. My grandfather, who I stand to inherit from, was English. So obviously, since most of my family isn't upper class, when you're upper class, you have to raise your whole family like they're upper class because you have to maintain an image. So we were solidly, I was solidly church. They weren't. Listen up, everyone. I'm going to demonstrate proper broomstick techniques. But since he was English, it made it easier. So, you know, who was the first person who decided it was a good idea to ride a broom? Kind of nobody ever noticed me because my friends were the most important in my life. I wonder if my brother rode on one of these brooms because that was just my culture. Realize like they would get my jokes and whatever. Am I the best student at Hogwarts and the best student to ever attend Hogwarts? I know they're probably saying stuff that's like really socially relevant. Keep your feet up. That's true at a rodeo, not on a real horse for horseback riding. Just as a heads up, you're supposed to keep your foot past the mark. You'll likely take a painful tumble if you lose focus for even a second. Pay attention to me. So this is reflexes, and I just felt it really parsed out well. And if you did enjoy the books and maybe weren't familiar with English culture as much, like I just flagged it hard that, like they were teaching something where you go down, and in America that's really bad. But in England, you're supposed to, as the peasantry, if a baron ever gets involved or something, you're supposed to have a place where you go and you step out of the way. It's time to practice summoning your broom. Step up, hold your right hand, and say up. Just barely hit the edge of my radar, and I kind of vaguely remember mentioning some things, about how I hated that speech to my best friends and so on. So, let's see. 5 stars to pass. Oh, it takes 5 stars to pass. Hold on. So I actually have to sit through this. That's where I went wrong the last time. Now let's see. Can I leave, or does that restart it? I've never tried leaving it and going back to it. Apparently I can. Okay, so I can. This is, like I said, this is an extraordinarily well-constructed game. And one of the reasons, apparently, you can, just... Oh, I need to... Okay, so I can't take another lesson, but I could go on a quest. I like either storyline or something that has to do with game theory. And I'll go and get one of the two every time that I play one of these, or else I'll just ditch it. And, you can see in a couple of my videos where if you check really hard, my characters are leveled up or whatever because I had to grind. So grinding isn't necessary. Those shoes crack me up. I knew this Polish kid. In ethnic cultures, you have a tendency to have more loud accessories. And I thought I was going to marry him, this Polish kid who had shoes just like that. Made me laugh so hard. That's a dude's will try defensive. I lost. But yeah, I have such a habit of telling a story with literally everything that I would crash and burn really hard at a boarding school because they would kick my butt every time. It's because I played early on. I made my name. I picked where my dad was making his name because I knew he wasn't a social person. And I made my name directly under it by playing out my role as an anti-villain. So I learned how to do it, and it was with a group of very intelligent people, and we got a lot of feedback on it. It was really cool. So I went out and I did that. So when I run into this storytelling type of area where it's going to enter, where it's going to go outside of your neighborhood, I knew what to do. So, my friends and I stayed close, and I had this thing that I could do, and I had my own particular idiom and all of that. And then I had the proof positive, which is if you're supposed to, America has a checklist approach, that doesn't vary. And that's why we can have minority, upper class, and whatever, because there's a standard, there's a rubric every time. And so people like the Trumps are automatic upper class, but then they also have to make it. So everyone was talking about he was so stupid or something, and I could recognize that his pattern language was Christian, and he was heavy on symbology, because that's something that I do. I tell a story that way. So whether or not it was, popular, or it would be translated, or it was being translated properly, I knew he was doing something where he was just talking about his life and using social media, which was ultimately defensible. So I checked his education, and he graduated, he went to Fordham and Wyndham, which were Ivy League. So that's all you need. He had a corporation. He didn't have to go and get his license to practice science. He was just auto upper class. You're expected to, have that happen. So, He probably would have done really poorly in boarding school, though, which is what people can tell. And so they look at, if you're automatically international, they kind of look at, like, how would you do internationally? I'm trying to kind of show you how I would tell a story here by having my character, my avatar, act out, like, everything that I did and see how I won. And, like, I would have been able to go back and tell my girls about it without getting in trouble, which is really important if you go to university. Not so important in boarding school. So Hogwarts is very interesting for me. Hopefully you're enjoying it too. Hit me up if you do need a Hogwarts friend. It is the one app that I don't have like all of the friends on. So feel free. I am Ann Jindro. I would love to play along with you. This is a really great game if you haven't tried it. It's free for mobile. So check it out with us. We loved having you along for the ride. Thank you, for coming along. And as always, much love. We'll see you in the next video.